will be your strategy to improve your points in the table? Even though the team is good and all is good, but the rise of points is not satisfactory.
Well, we need to start by winning some games. That's the strategy. Look, we're obviously getting close to halfway point of the competition now, and there's no hiding away from the fact that we haven't played the way we want to play. When you go into a competition, you work out what you think your best chances of winning are. We came into this competition with it being the last year of an auction cycle. You go into the auction, you improve the team the best you can, you set a strategy, and you come in and you expect to deliver. Now, we haven't played the way we want to play. That's clear. What you try to do then is you try and look at different selection options, different combinations. You try and help the players improve, but ultimately the players would be expecting to go out and deliver probably better than they have done. So it's our job to support them with our coaching and our support. We've already looked at a couple of different personnel changes, and we'll continue to think about whether any selection changes can enhance the team. And in Andy, we've got one of the best head coaches in the world who's very good at improving players and improving teams, and he's trying his best and exhausting every opportunity possible, along with his coaches and support staff, so that we can try and turn this around. And if we can start by getting a win in the next game, because all you can think about is the game in front of you, you hope you can start to build some momentum. But in competitions like this, negative momentum can build quite quickly, and you want to try and switch that to get some positive momentum.
Yeah. Among the many things that has not worked for RCB, one is the bad form of Glenn Maxwell. He came into the IPL in great form, but things are not really working for him. And that has sort of pulled RCB down a bit. So firstly, your thoughts on that? How disappointing that Maxwell hasn't got firing?
Yeah, look, he's disappointed. He obviously has high standards, and he's had a very impressive 12 to 24 months. And in our plans, he's an important part of our batting lineup. Obviously, he's an all-rounder, but he's an important part of our batting lineup, particularly those middle overs where we want to be able to attack spin bowling in particular, which is he's one of the best players in the world. So, look, up until now, we've been trying to support him as best we can, try and help him find his best form. Between him and the other players in our middle order, say someone like Raja, it's good to see him come back to some form last game. Really, we're trying to target that middle phase of the game where we feel like we could probably score at a better rate or put more pressure on the opposition. So we're trying to work with him to do that.
Yeah, as my friend told, the batting also is a concern for RCB. Almost 5 matches.
Sorry, say that again.
My friend told, batting form is very poor as far as RCB is concerned. Because of batting, we are losing matches. For this coming match tomorrow, what the strategy like expensive player like Maxwell, as he said, is not performing well. Even bowling department also is very, very poor in terms of we can see that Siraj also not performing up to the mark. So what will be the strategy for tomorrow, sir?
Well, a bit like I've said to your two colleagues, we feel like we can improve in batting and bowling, not just the batting. When you look at the team, you try and work out what are they doing today and also what are they capable of. There's a lot of champion cricketers in our team and our squad, but we haven't played to that level yet. So it's our job and the captain's job to try and get the best out of them. So in terms of strategy, we're looking for performance improvements. We're trying to get through a positive power play. We're trying to make sure that we're putting the opposition under pressure in the middle overs. And we want to be able to finish strong. Our middle to lower order has played well so far. I think in this competition, it's been one of the positives. So try and make sure that we can get that lower order still firing. And then we want to be able to bowl with aggressive intent. We want to take more wickets, is the reality. I think the way the IPL has gone with impact players, I don't think you can just try and not concede runs anymore. I think the best way to not concede runs is to take wickets, because if you try and not concede runs and they've got the impact player coming in and there's 8 batters, maybe 9 batters coming at you, yeah, they're not going to run out of resources very easily if you're just trying to defend all the time. So it's trying to get our bowlers to a point where they feel confident to attack and take wickets, because I think wickets is our best chance. So in terms of strategy, that's pretty much it.
Hello. So just wanted to ask, because since you spoke about how it's a negative thing that when you start losing games, it has a negative kind of thing, and teams primarily look at the bench when these kind of things happen to make changes to produce good results. But what we see in RCB is there's lack of depth at the bench also. So look at the spin department. So how much does that hurt?
Well, selection's only one tool that you have at your disposal. There's other ways to improve a team as well. The one really pleasing thing is the environment still feels very strong. The players are very well connected. as most of us have who have been involved in elite cricket, you spend time in environments where you have good results, you have bad results, and the environment isn't always healthy. I think our environment's in an excellent place. And the captain and coach deserve a lot of credit for that. So if we can get one or two performances under our belt the way we want to play and get some results, we think that will turn. The bit around bench strength, I think we've got plenty of bench strength. We've got lots of options to pick from. The area of spin bowling might be where we have a little bit less experience, of course. We are where we are with that. We kind of knew a little bit about that coming into the auction, and there wasn't a huge depth of spin bowling options at the auction either. So you try and set your strategy around a long batting order, and for these conditions, pace bowling is quite a good option anyway, given how expensive spinners can be at the Chinnaswamy. So you're always trying to work with your resources you've got, but we feel like we've got enough here across our batters, our pace bowlers, and our spin bowlers to be playing better than we are. So, for me, it's as simple as that. We're honest about the fact that we haven't played well enough, and we're trying to look for as many improvement areas as we can. Selection is one of those options, but it's not the only option.
Hi Mo, you, Andy, and the rest of the support staff, how close are you to, treating the rest of the season as a sort of free hit to build towards next year?
Well, we're not thinking that. As far as I'm concerned, we started this campaign with 14 group games, and the aim was to finish in the playoffs. And all of that was in our own hands. We sit here with 8 games to go, with an aim to get in the playoffs, and that result's still in our hands. As a point where it's not in our hands, that's when you might think differently. But right now it's in our hands, and we've got to believe in that. And that's the clear message that we're giving to the team. It's also not that much point looking at a free play for next year, because we've got a big auction coming and things will change. And every team will have more of a blank canvas to look at their resources. So that isn't front and centre of our psychology right now. Right now, we're focused on this season, and in particular, the next game that's in front of us. There's certainly nobody giving up in our changing.
Yeah. My question is, what do you think RCB need to do more to win more regularly at the Chinnaswamy? And any update on Maxwell, because it seemed he hurt his hand in the last game.
Yes, I'll start with the second part of that. Maxwell's had a couple of scans and he's okay at the minute, so there's no injury concerns. He's going to practice today and we'll get more of a feel from him, but at this stage, no concerns. Winning at home is quite tricky. I think that's a really good question. It's the sort of ground, because it's small boundaries, it's a bit more of a leveller. So I think it's quite hard to get home advantage. I think if you play at a ground that maybe is a bigger ground, or if there's conditions that tilt one way or another, you can try and assign your team to match those conditions. So it is a hard thing for us to do. I think from our perspective, what we've tried to do is have pitches that have pace and bounce in them, hopefully, because we're seam bowling heavy and pace bowling heavy. And we've got batters and top order batters that are really good against quick bowling. So we try and have surfaces that look like that. We haven't always got that here, and that's not that easy. And we're trying to work closely with the curator to try and make sure we get exactly what we want. And to be fair to him and their team, they're working really hard to try and deliver that as well. So, they're certainly doing their best. But obviously, at this stage of the year, there's been a lot of cricket on this square. The WPL was here. There's been a lot of domestic cricket here. So we're trying to get conditions to match our strengths. But the simple answer is it's not that easy to gain home advantage at the Chinnaswamy because it's a small ground and it's a good leveller. It's the sort of place where everybody fancies having a go at a big score. And if you get the wrong side of a toss, it's difficult to defend. So it's not an easy place, but we've got to be prepared for that challenge.
More from a team strategy point of view, most teams, almost all teams in the IPL, they take a very aggressive batting approach from ball one all the way till the end of the innings. But RCB, it seems the top order, Kohli, even though he's scoring runs, they try to sort of settle in and take a bit of time before attacking. So from a team strategy point of view, what are your sort of instructions to the team? Do you sort of want them to take a more aggressive approach from ball one?
Well, look, the point on Virat seems to get a lot of media and airtime in India. I think of all the openers playing in the competition right now, he's obviously scored more runs than most of them. And he's also offering a pretty healthy strike rate relative to some of those as well. So I'm not spending too much time worrying about the way Virat's batting right now. I think he's doing pretty well. I think more generally about our scores, I think we would like to get more out of our innings. I think that is fair. We've seen in the competition some big scores. 200 has been breached plenty of times. It's a bit of a chicken and egg scenario where confidence will breed that slightly more risk-taking. And if you're not feeling that confident right now, then that's hard. And we've had probably some high-profile players who probably haven't performed the way they would want to, and we're trying to work with them on that. So I just think that sort of thing is linked to confidence right now. When people are at the top of their game, they feel like they can take more risks. And some of our guys probably haven't felt like that. We saw some good signs in the last game. We managed to get what I think should have been a competitive score. It didn't prove to be because Mumbai batted brilliantly and blew us away, but it should have been a competitive score in my opinion, with people other than Virat contributing. So I think that's a healthy sign. So hopefully we can build from there.
Yeah, hello. A word on Mohammed Siraj's form and performance, how it's been, because he's one of the main bowlers and he can lead the bowling attack from the front. So, what's been going on with Mohammed Siraj and what's the conversation? How has he been helped about it?
Yeah, so he's probably another one that probably feels himself like he hasn't quite been at his best. So again, a bit like I've said with the other players, it's our job to try and help him get back to that. I think we all know that Mohammed Siraj is the sort of player that when he's on song, you can see his rhythm, you can see his body language, he's aggressive. So we're trying to help him get back to that place where he can trust his best ball and bowl with aggression. It's a bit like the batting question. It's difficult to show that body language and show that intent when you're not feeling quite as confident. So it's our job to try and make him feel confident. So there aren't quick fixes to some of these things. The coaches are working hard to try and support the players. But look, what is true is that we're talking, in some of these players, we're talking about champion cricketers they will find their form. We just hope it's sooner rather than later, but they'll find their form.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, everyone.